Etaya TV Omurabu Wagusi.
Biamono mancho mo ligreria semargo bayabono na indevuna na bamanyia daktari ito no ara se studio to chiko kwa na make ali arengete igoro yibirengo by'uchumi yense ya Kenya ngana kibigo tware mu chando ekero chinse chinde chikorwana nyirense ya Kenya ebinto mbiro ebinge eko import wose korusya korwase chinse chinde wano kwanyoranga chinse chiri chikorwana kero kinde Kenya ne tegemete nseyo emanya konyora gintu gete muna mono mangana ya maguta mangana y'ibintu mbali ense ya Kenya konyore kurusia isiko ye chinse chinde kwanyoranga chisegi inchigenderete mono to kwanere ense bune ya Israel abakonyoranga ense ya Kenya ibintu mbiro riri guchiya Rusia roro abantu bari banarete kugendororo barakorana na maigerio bakenya mbaro bamenye toro rekero chisegi chirororo kwanyoranga no nyambisiringi bono mbali gotomanga gaiga sense ya Kenya egera abantu bakorera ubunchorire gati y'ibintu binde binge abito cyo kwanira semarga ya bono asumuru Kenya muri rumna tubegetabu ase TV yao to kukwana the implications, the economic implications ekero Middle East ebwata chi crisis aina ruto chikumurikira semargo ya bono yo karibu sana tusangamo naye weiko moelio abogo tobwati asensemo ya Facebook page bine Taya TV asensemo ya YouTube na otole Taya TV SMS number botambe ntobegete ase TV yao na bogo tobwati asenchira yubekirano igosangamo na intwe asekerengera likyao kiliora nigo sangana intwe feedback yao kolendetera monde nendetebe message gose jumbembe yera ntogonyara gosoma asembe igotogosoma message eri bwate obolito eri bwate kirenga asemargo bayabono karibu sana umugaka company na Tom company na tulgeti kabisa ne familia ya na bayigo Nimrod na tulgeti kwa chinsemo chiria chia Mwembe ne familia ya goto wakangambye mono ya bene karibu sana daktari weriro bia yabona sukulinda chinsa biyamana ona linda bongane tiora kwani mwancho murigeria regwelio giria simargo bayabono egere tumanye kugendera guchibosyo karibu sana
biyamana umurigeria weta TV na ukwandi mbiole kagerete ngambiole asante sana
Father Yusuf Ningo na watainga
yes jengoro ku Dr. Yusuf Motari Osomi Kisi University one nara for now the rest they will know.
Asante sana Daktari Yusuf. The economic implications of Middle East crisis wochase uchumi yense ya Kenya otugo chakiragabo naki okonyoranga uchumi yense ya Kenya egusalika ekero chisegi chirisiko bose chire asichinse chinde bono munenze ya Israel ndoro chisegi chirororo nense ya Iran twarorije nk'abantu abange kati abo murayivu yense ya United States of America Donald Trump aba Canada mbaumirana the G7 summit ali Canada kora kwanere gore chisegi chigenderete Iran na Israel na nsete yetagete gotiga lakini yense ya Kenya are we affected directly?
Biyamana sana so kungaligania kwanza tetora manyanga the Middle East mostly sekitire in the Middle East
yes
Middle East kisejiro robuna bono Yemen Saudi Arabia tuwate Iran tuwate Iraq tuwate tisene nyingi chiregali within the Middle East Lebanon tuwate chisisi gibuna jira sawa na Qatar Qatar so chisecho to form the Middle Israel narrow to form the Middle East countries so bono chisecho njira twara molembe for a very long time ngotwara chire chisegi but mostly chisegi chikoba Iran ne bwata basani baye as in the Middle East muna wan cha Lebanon Palestine bono babegeta basani babo gali bakurwa ni Israel chise chibono chire ange sana na Israel so bono asa matuka mange ku 1979 gocha Iran ge otumia chise chire ange na Israel kubarwania lakini bono ngwaroche gutakera mutinyi uri wetete mutinyi twikanga cyane cha bono
just 2 weeks
yes bono Iran yangirwa na Israel directly so bono what we can say the Middle East is disturbed because when a direct contact between Israel and Iran is going to be a crisis. But no, it was in 2023. Bado Iran kurogoro ni nesegoro kunga Russia. Just on the other border is Russia. The northeast of Iran. Remember, Ukraine is very close to Iran.
Yeah, sure.
Russia is very close to Iran. So it's Iran. So that region is completely disturbed. So the question, effects.
Yes.
In the Middle East, as a Kenya. In fact, between Israel, Iran and Kenya are many kilometers, very many kilometers. Yeah. So, but even the Iran, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, we go to affect directly. For example, Kenya, here a net importer of oil. Because there is oil in the country. Iran, Saudi Arabia, and other countries. So the moment over destabilize a crisis in those countries, you expect that movement in the country
go affected.
And remember, a corridor narrow between Israel and Iran, there is a corridor that moves yata paka angana Somalia. The corridor no ko move a very major. Ko move one of the so the moment the corridor ko disturbed movement teyo okonyoranga about alternative routes, the Cape of Good Hope. But kolta mafta Kenya and other countries in East Africa. So konyoranga there is a big problem. So one of Takara tele 15 to 15 last
month,
April. Amavuta mentire by almost in Gisato 2.69. So that tells you that Amangana Kolakana in the Middle East affects Kenya directly. Yes. Yes.
Right. What lessons is Kenya learn out of this? Because we are depending so many things. Amaguta to import, to import kura Ukraine. Abono mnachisegichirega ni manye naona moyo. Aisa koero nya as a country never kongusana ndo koleta moyo. So what key lessons Kenya wanna learn? Na Kenya wanna independent because if the wars goes on and on like this, Iran na Israel, kila mtu anataka vita. What lessons should Kenya learn?
I'm holding that question in my mind. Yeah. Escalation was even much more. Ekara Trump rule a 2-week ultimatum. At everything a 2-week ver kurubon kurugosen Thursday. Muna ruete G7 countries se jigata to yarenge jigata to jikaberabo. Agatabanga it narengere to go bomb Iran directly.
And I was wondering why is he involving himself as Iran?
Yes, so history narrow.
Okay.
Ya target kurwa the Second World War 1945. 1945 German alikuwa na Hitler aitete aba Israel, the Jews, around 9 million of them. So the Jews were scattered across the world. Wanda wakaenda Europe, wanda wakaenda America. In fact, it's in America. Kwenye waraba Israeli hawatu. We call them Jews. They are everywhere. So then America kaligiria bantaba asaba kwenda kobera around 1948. Ekabanyolera bakalengelinga historically aba Israeli balenge along those places in Jerusalem. So ekagenda ekabaligiria asaba kobera closer to Palestine.
Okay.
So when I go, our Palestine balenge ba expected ko the natives aba nyana kisecho bagatabanga bantu bakuruz ko bacha koraki batakobera.
Okay.
So America egatabanga Israel is our number one friend, ally, and we shall vow to protect them. And that's why say again there was a girl in the Middle East.
Okay.
America has to involve herself.
Because you see, naroche Donald Trump wetre mitandao amona na kurochinya bacho baralia na bwato mukutano ko ligerelia ngana ki awochigo bomb Iran and everyone was wondering. And at the same Trump na the president ya Russia Putin nga abe mediator gatia Iran and Israel. And dabara G7 balenge Canada summit ngarabago disqualify that ngana ki Putin arachi kobe mediator because Roma nyene na abwate chisegina ense ya Ukraine. So if that is happening, then na mayene esegine chikogenderera. Then now omwanchibuli na boli ngakirenda to chikokora intubuna bakenya because we are depending.
Kwanza the main ally umusani omonene o Iran esengima na Russia. So Russia nera atebete to comediate. Actually tali Trump. Russia nera atebete to comediate nkonye mediate. Alafu the G7 na America bakakana because bakatabanga I already know what they say gina Ukraine.
Na Ukraine ya.
To ko competent enough baraki comediate. So Europe ega offer or take charge in the mediation. Remember, the mediation ile ndangani ya lenga Qatar. Ilikuwa happen in Qatar. So, but now Qatar kairusa tanga wana tingo nyara ko yata. Wana Europe has said in the second wave of mediation, Europe is going to mediate.
Okay.
No, but the question, kwambo of course, I'm telling you, Sarah, uchumotua manganatari choka maya anda wange wa predicting we are going to see a third world war. We don't know, don't mind. So the world is in a crisis.
Yeah.
Now, ngaki Kenya lende bono, ero ekwerenda kurwase ebintu birago bigokolekana isiko ye mipaka ya Kenya. This was really cool because in Tobanyana, Kenya, this was to evolve for many years. Nearinga ngito ota make economically independent, economically stable. Ngito ta cross living to vito, nyine sigari, cross sigari chito, onyene chisimi, cross simi chito. Chemicals, torosi chito, amoyo torosi. Remember moyo manga kuru? Ukraine. Asa kuru Russia. Wheat tokoli.
Oh, wheat na Ukraine. Yeah, sure.
You see? Nkitekogera tutako make Kenya yeito ebe almost autonomous ase vinte vinge ndo basokoba ese class kiri kurunga net importers. Net importers means toko import almost everything.
Yeah.
Remember? Biashara bieto na Middle East obiriga.
Yes.
Middle East yatoa chemicals, yatoa moya igwa na Russia, yatoa na oil. Intungi tokoba. Tokoba agricultural products, chai, coffee, and
It's tea and coffee.
Tea, coffee, nyama, chome.
Okay.
Yes. That's the only
That's
thing
the only thing that Kenya
we do to them.
exports.
Yes, that's the only thing we do to them.
Then we import even mitumba.
Then we import so many of those things from there. That's why.
Are we serious?
Yes, and you know those things to them, very, very small in terms of the cost.
They can do without them here.
Of course, they can do without them. And what they give us, we cannot
do without it.
Yes. So, when you coffee, you can get it from Uganda, because Uganda is one of the leading exporters of coffee. You can get it from India, and you can get tea, you can get it from India, because India is one of the, and Pakistan. Pakistan is the greatest exporter of coffee and tea. Of tea. So we katolre turigeli inward. Tutiko kore siasa ito kora kuruana naro kose news. Tore tu bolis wad neki in Kenya kito tira our children. So that wana mai tumba tikwenyora in the same scenario. Itore bono iga tutoka nyerete bindu kuritin sechinda. Yewa.
Like now, kare segia ateka Israel, aba usimbaro baminyete Israel usaba Kenya in short. Kenyan simbaro baminyete ndi kiobeke monkero by the way ko ba led no mugusi. Ochiororo like 6-7 months ago.
Yes.
Lakini kare bomwelia lipueta sakuru kwa Tel Aviv. Few miles kurasaba Kenya you amenyete. It was terrifying. How is even the country Kenya making sure safety? Yata Kenya ni bara Israel nechin sechinde chiri chisegichire.
That is very good. You see, chin sechinde bono I mean Australia on Friday njarwete alert travel advisory. And aja to evacuate kurusia bantu babo while in those countries.
Yeah.
America yarwete travel advisories. But in Kenya I have not heard that Kenya yarwete travel advisories and have evacuated abantu because I am not seeing a possibility of ceasefire. Because if Trump attacks Iran, there will be no ceasefire. No, they will completely destabilize Iran. And the moment they completely destabilize Iran, Iran will be ran over by small groups, unorganized groups. Chigotaka go take over power. So I am not seeing if Trump attacks Iran, any peace within the Middle East.
Escalate.
Yeah, and that's why our government, Kenya, they want to go evacuate our people. Travel advisories to secure them in the short term, maybe 2-3 weeks from now. Because you see,
of course, they were taken to the bunkers, underground for safety. But until when? Kanga, Kenya, they say about those things, but we see them as a chigarigoro, but the shilling will even
devalue.
Yes, devalue out of the as a chin sechiga toroche, na ende chin sechiga to directly, Wamangana Yebiasara, we go Kongyo Chumiense ya Kenya. Are we seeing any possibility about even to address this? Because it's better they prepare Kenyans, because at the end of the day, if the cost of living, Dr. it's very high, don't you think address what is happening, especially connected directly?
Very good. Now, Kenya are at a catch-22 situation. One of the challenges is Kenya is a good friend of Iran. And Kenya is also a good friend of Israel. So Kenya cannot take a to South Africa. Kenya will sit, and I'm telling you.
What did South Africa do?
South Africa actually took Israel to court. And say, Israel to court. Asking in JV between Israel and Palestine. ensengima is South Africa. So Kenya wanted to say that there should be stoppage of war between Israel and Palestine, but discovered that America is watching. So Kenya again tukiokera akoreno kuru travel advisories na kubatebi abakenya wati lakini gotebanga Iran mbo mole gose will keep quiet.
But it will just keep quiet.
They will keep quiet because you know here are big brothers.
Okay.
The big brothers are having war. They are having issues among themselves. The worst thing, the best thing you can do is to keep quiet. Because they will classify either you are here or there, which can be catastrophic.
What is the reason Kenya is keeping quiet?
The reason why Kenya is keeping quiet is that it's afraid that if it takes sides, and either Iran or Israel, is going to affect the trade. It's going to affect the relationship between either side. So Kenya will keep quiet completely back as a year. Yes.
But it is affecting us in one way. Whatever na Kenya, we export tea. Na Israel na wakunywa machani ito, by the way.
Israel kwanza Iran mwa ninjeto. Ninjeto Iran ya kufa machani. Akandenga na yake.
Amachani amanga kwa Kenya directly inaenda to Israel. Pakistan chisecho.
Yes.
Nonye Iran at some extent.
Iran, yes, there's Kenyan coffee and tea.
Kenyan coffee and tea.
I tasted it when I was there. Yeah, it is there. But then, one thing you need to know is that as much as toko ba tea and toko ba na coffee, bako nyore tea nyingi kurwa sinse chingao. Munabono, Uganda, na India. Yes.
Yes, because the other day nkaiguba complaining amachani tachakir koba amabi. That's why even in the Mombasa
auction.
Auction wao korera ilikuwa imejaa majani mingi sana. That's why balimbali kuna kuliranga why pesa yake. Ne area asinyuko exported asako genda guchi. So up to now daktari I'm imagining there is a possibility Kenya te kunyara go export.
Yes. Yes.
What will happen, especially here in Kenya?
That is a good question, Sarah. And that's why one live as a rooftop. Tigari. The greatest ambassador, we're getting the best, the leading marketer of Kenya. Yes. The president.
Yes.
Should be busy create alternative markets. And you know, let me tell you, alternative markets it's even in Africa. Africa.
You think so?
Africa itself can buy our products. Africa. Did you know that? Of course, ndoko only Uganda, ndoko only Tanzania. Majani tunechukwirende because actually they also produce. But there are other countries, maybe with Central Africa, with Algeria, that can buy our products. So we should look at and you know, Sarah, the question that took evolve in Africa, unaba Kenya. In Kiako era to develop
Kenya.
Trade within Africa. Why?
Maybe
why
just in Africa,
no.
They need more money.
The problem is simply the currency of exchange. It's not whether currency are various. The currency of exchange. The currency of exchange between us, you'll be surprised. Assuming we were selling, but we sell other products which Uganda, for example. Karatoko ni kendi yonse which Uganda aga muinu uno nyeroche gati kilometer 750. Otoko ni echaito ose our products in $1. Then toko ni kujimata 70 kilometers Tanzania ga toko ni in $1. We do not have currency to define Africa.
Oh yeah, I see.
So then the product becomes expensive and it becomes abanta wakoranga hakuna hata haja kununua because you the same currency yoko ni go India go chikarase ero ko ne liga baganda kanga tuwande utwara East African currency which is easier ko need to translate the dollar into the local currency for you.
So there is need for having as Africa one currency.
Yes.
Is that doable?
It is doable, only that our big brothers that I've said before, want. Our big brothers, the America, the world. Want your own currency. Because autonomous. Yes. Yes. So, and even the war that we see in the Middle East is just because of the big brother syndrome. The big brother syndrome, Iran is developing nuclear weapon. I don't mind Iran is not developing nuclear weapon. Iran is only accumulating uranium. Uranium, you to make a nuclear weapon. Yeah, about 60 whatever percent. I'm not sure about that, but they are only accumulating uranium.
But when you are accumulating that uranium, what is your intention?
They are expecting that nuclear. But the authority manage inspection ya nuclear, but Iran is not developing nuclear weapon. But because of the big brother syndrome, they have to cut you to size. You are cut to size Iran. Just like they cut us to size. By not accepting into independent somehow, so that we can also grow ourselves. Yes.
America believes it's the superpower.
Yes. So, but then I'm telling you, in the near future, the things will change because there are other countries that are emerging, becoming stronger. One of it is China is becoming stronger economically. You saw the trade war, the tariff war between between China and America. America kabeka 145%, waliba kairi 125%. Eventually ngo arojesegia bata America atawatetika 20 kutole, aira ni 10%, akitokole biashara na ino. Which means that countries Chinde are emerging to become stronger, such that there is balance between America and other countries for the survival of smaller countries like Kenya and others.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Daktari. By the way, you are unpacking these things. It affects Kenya directly.
Yes.
Kenya no toleni into abali mivechai. Maitakaruto konga chisegi chire Iran and to Iran na tambi. Iran is where we import things from. Israel is the Ukraine, Russia, Sudan. Intense ya Kenya tegemea to chisiko iko vile vinge kopwa birie kunyara ko bage ko manufacture baraboka banyene na kitoko kwa nase maragoba ya barnye ko wateli volio na bago tonyero wetra se namba SMS 0735 333 000 na bago tonyera Facebook page na tole live uneta ya TV atonyera YouTube live uneta ya TV toko tema. It is reality. Nechi factinga chisegi inchire asense ya Israel. Israel no musani mwanena bwense ya Kenya. Iran no musani mwanena bwense ya Kenya. Nkorotora baraikoro Iran wacha State House matukatato they plan on amangana yobwa matobya gatiense ya Kenya amonense ya Israel. Wasense ya Iran. So nakitawa daranga karo chisegi chirororo. Korengana daktari na ndokoranga ceasefire ne irege kake ekiagera bona nalie chache tenkwaro prime minister ya Iran gotebanga no sisi hapana ukarere prime minister ya Israel Benjamin ogotebanga sasa lazima tulipize nini kizazi na kichisegie chichi wa fact ense ya Kenya na ende abaraibense ya Kenya karobaro chegena baraiba Africa ekaro binto bigendrete kibagwene to kora daktari bo batali bagana bako tutomere ujumbe ya otosoma semergo ya bona karatogendete kuna kuligirelia ngora lessons ki Kenya to weneta kolana ende kikigwenete ke korwe away from politics to tige go politicize everything. Tumanyenga tobe serious even for once. Akoro kwa agoteba kurwa Nyamira Ramba Nyageita Buyaso kwa Banyoraita TV kwa ni mgeni studio. Wanasema very educative session Sara pamoja na daktari kwa Maiga Mange. Agoteba in reality Kenya is sleeping. Our leaders are totally sleeping. Amesema yuko ndani. Pastor Wycliffe Mwenga Otiso from Nyambambo. All right. Daktari from Nyambambo, Nyamira County anatupata vizuri. Hawata swali langu ni vita hii ikiisha mafuta inaweza rudi ile bei ilikuwa? Ya pili, does this war contribute to high cost of living that we are experiencing here in Kenya? Ujua kuru kwa Pastor Wycliffe, tiyo tumwiralia karutoge ndretega. Itagani otangi segiere gokia. Igorira mafuta ndira nense.
Igorira mafuta na bulikwire nanse. Nechiba yasatiri. Remember, costing ya fuel, the cost by barrel, liyo cha Kenya. Ngo affected the cost of fuel. So, nabo kwira nanse akara segia koreki ya keire. So but there is another question I want to in one way or the other, are they contributing to high cost of living that we're experiencing right now in Kenya? No, but you see, the high cost of living in Kenya, is external, but it's also internal. Yes. So external, yes, no just Russia and other things. But internal is more than external. One agora nyola bantu lero bale kwende igoro tigarigo. Bonsi babere bali muina na muina. Bale tigarigo. Bawo na siasa. Ngagora improve country o take currency. 2 years down the line still wanapanga Kenya. Cost of living will go high. Yes. We can make currency more plan for the country so that the cost of living gets changed. Lakini bono moraba chikwere ndingoro. Obviously, cost of living will go high. Igonga external chirichira changie cost of living in Kenya chire very kidogo sana. Chiro lakini chire chingi. Yes. Internally no tubwa tobo kongu. Ekiagera abaraimba wene tokora something. Ekere gintu kere getali burunge. But they are doing contrary the opposite. Daktari, talk about these tariffs. Donald Trump na saineti bintogete binge kera soerete oburai. Yes. Tariffs, something like that. And say Kenya, Nero is among other countries chichibikire tariffs in imports chikwenda America. There's some but remember tariffs and they're very expensive. Yeah. As a tariff war. I think February 2025, Kenya got the best deal. 10%. There are other countries, Seychelles, Mauritius, 50% tariff. So, 10%. Okay. What does that mean now? 10% means nonyetole agoa treaty. Yes. Agoa treaty neli egotewanga African businesses within Africa ekaro export to America ebe free, duty free. Yeah. Bakanyira from 0 to 10%. And remember, agoa was actually expiring this year. So whichever way we were going to get tariffs. Now the effect nelinga omongi no ko simeka linago madeli na litongo kaliba ka America somehow omongi no ko welinago linago liri akali ko genda liko ba charged chiba chikomento ase digoli linago 10%. Poni na gulia oliko ba expensive by 10%. So it means that Lina guliao korumagena likoba less appealing in the international market. Less? Yes. So ekali likoba lina guliao wakalioni shilingi 10. America bagote ebiri bakomenteire 10%. bono liabire 11 shillings abantu bakagorera 10 shillings barenge 10 bono kare abire 11 shillings abantu batikolion really ngabake so liko less appealing in the international market. So which means that with the tariffs we are going to have even more economic hard times within the country.
Yes,
because products chito unaona kitire pizza diga chianga and other things to export to America. It's going to cover more expensive, less affordable in the American population. Yes.
All right. We need such brains to unpack those statements because mbiyaba bakenya baelewa mbako tariffs mbako bintu bito kwana bas nyunga mangana kiaya. Asesema ya Facebook ndo chana kumachere na tuligirretia gote na tutikura Mombasa no ali meyomoro video. Krandi Dennis na Roma Solvega Susu na tulitukura chinsu bashana Kuru City Salams Club gachuba sovo. Victor Nyoki gukawa ushago 25 streaming live korwa bobasi bokinami village rigena. Brighton Makoli wana gano abwateli boli yako boli ga daktari. How long will Kenya still depend on these foreign countries when we have corruption in our country? Mafuta ilipatikana Turukana. We don't know what happened. We have gold mining in places. Serikali is busy building houses instead of building economy. We are still under colonial. Yeye anasema we are still under colonial. Mwenye nguvu katika atingi alotara Mungu wetu mwenye nguvu ni baba wa milele.
So bono.
Akoboli, what happened na mafuta ya Turukana by the way?
Yeah, you see, mafuta ya Turukana was not enough. Only that serikali ziko.
Ile walitoa iko wapi?
Kidogo, it's not good for commercial. It's not enough for commercial. You can find it.
Mbona singapore yetu?
No, nyaka arona make. So the issue is tari lazima tu arama mafuta maka independent. No. So we need koligi bintu binde ngao Kenya ra kole independent. For example, the easiest is ekaratoko ni coffee. You should not sell coffee that is raw. To want to comment value to the coffee. Tea, to want to comment tea dokoni. Dokoni mna no timne ko igari ma twanyane ke kwere. Tango tevi tea ere kera uta kuira na kurwali gocha. Tali eri. Eko ba grade 1. But only expensive tea. What we should do to want to comment value to our products.
Amachani to export.
Amachani to export matale ro tu wala sale tabu atinguru chinde. To konya ira ngumbu. Akarabanya ikira bakora value addition ya majani aliacha in the best grade to anyawan. Coffee to ya ruga coffee ya and ira na Nescafe corroborate in other countries are more expensive. So to want to go kokora value addition to our product, and it's easy, it's not difficult. Only that abantu beto nyara batake met kokora siasa. Cheap politics are not solving problems. Goika to kenga kigete to solve emechano ya Kenya. By ensuring that egeti chakari kiao you should be able to add value yourself. Akarakuwa maintain value. Akarakuwa nige the coaches somontonde kya kwa twist nyingi kwa katika chakwa. Yes.
Bono daktari. What should Kenya do then to be independent in the future? Nganonya yegwikera tokorachisegi ntoko tware shock. Mate there are some department bono gabara in shock. Nonyeka na president asinara in shock nga ke ebinte byenye tuweyeti bikoera. The war is still on. Nga kitogo kora ntoko nyora chi shock. What should Kenya do now?
So now what Kenya should do is simple. Totuare homegrown solutions to our problems. Remember, if I want to give you the best example, best example in Iran. Iran was under sanction from 1979, 1980. Remember, to export yogo to Iran. Yogo ndiko under Iran.
they do them.
Drugs. Gali teko na Iran apart from chigali China na Russia. Gendong keyo chianga mbali go import go Iran. But Iran discovered that they were in a crisis. Wakatwara their own solutions to their problems. Remember, no wanyana marioga ya COVID-19. Iran, most manufacturers were COVID-19 drugs obalenge America na Russia. But mostly targeted na America. Russia got to catch up later. Amarioga ya COVID-19 Tarek exported to Iran. So they had their own homegrown solutions. Kenya, we must realize that we are in hard times to our homegrown solutions.
Let me cut you short. Thank you. We should tujitegemee. Do we have that capacity? Maybe we don't have that capacity.
You see,
are we capable?
Let me tell you, we have the capacity. You see, capacity grows over time. Usoko ya Iran ni chigali chawa wako ni chigali okuminga galikie. Embe koreka nembe. Embe pi. But you see, they started from igali UMB, pono watakiro upgrade. Now na chigali cha India. The Indian cars were very bad. But today the Indian cars are matching the British and the American and Chinese cars. Na chichoro cha Kenya power wada, chigali Kenya power wada nichia. Basically these are Indian vehicles. So ndongo tawangela ki rosi gendo kirike twara watoto bwao obototo bwao
chaka
yes endagererio kuruga mwao entoto kalia yao because over time you grow capacity. Capacity tego chaka on an instant. Capacity grows over time.
Over time.
Yes.
Yeah. So Kenya when chaka because we have the capacity. Lakini daktari and the corruption is on the corruption ni igerega abantu bagwa nichibesa nichibuni ndito wekaga.
So one ekaratota tego chaka, but you see, let me tell you, Sarah, whether there is corruption or there is no corruption, we must start anyway. We got to grow our manufacturing. And you know, I was very bitter. I was very bitter in 2021. Ekaratogo sieka keroche industries. I was very bitter because one of the challenges to want to go discover, even as we're saying we need to start anyway, is that we are our own enemies to our local producers. The government is its own enemy to the local producers. I'm not sure. Lakini given time. But this cars in serikali watavinga to akoire 5 years ebangonera otora kana 20 billion and sure wakanere bangoya 20 billion but what they did they shut down abantu bakaba jobless abakenya almost 500. Correct. That's a pronounced industry. How many more other industries? Someone in Dagotaka in the village, because of reasons here and there that could have actually had a solution. Lakini ekibasieka kwa joranga they importing it. They are importing the country. And produced. EABL, the competitor for Keroche industry, is not a Kenyan-owned company. It's a British-owned company. So we in Tuna Kenya, our attitude towards being economically independent is bad. Our attitude is bad because Keroche industry and other industries we need to ensure when other companies are establishing themselves from offshore, 10 years tax break. 10. Yes. But our own industries are not given tax breaks. Read the law. Read the law. It's very clear. Company establish Kenya given a tax holiday 10 years. But immediately. So our attitude towards production is very bad as a country. That's why bantu bandi kurwa pick up ugoro chigari chitipa chikwende prado igoro. They think. Let them think how to live, how to bequeath our children with a better country. And they have to make hard decisions. Hard decisions is you must ensure that you produce yourself.
This hard decision, they already did. That's why there's a lot of taxes in your pay slips, especially the salary.
And you know, we had a discussion about
and by the way, the latest economic empowering. I guess the MPs basangirira a lot of money by empower biombe. Is that bad?
And Sarah, yes. Let me tell you, the empowerment that the government should give her people is to enable them. Enable them.
How?
Enable them, give them an environment. Bono, tana ote isara lero. Ngola tere tinga, mkwe. Muna inaro che asegete. Ngola tere kan tukile kola chips, mkwe. But in your mind, your mind is not wired to make chips. Your mind is not wired to kola tinga. Ogosi.
Yes.
Have I actually empowered you? No, I have not empowered because toward the act, the drive for you was to see
the motivator is not there.
The thing is, create an enabling environment such that umuntu nabaka soka onyaga taite chips, arrows chips, omoe a tax incentive kogore machine rie chips. I decided the chips in Takete. Jetinda chips in gender negotiating. So provide an environment. Is the best gift
you can ever
that
give.
The country can ever give an economy.
If we want to grow our economy.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, thank you so much, Daktari. Eric Baraza, kulika watanga muko poa. Eric Baraza is my husband. Okoira maiga mango tagirende muko poa. Any crisis, be it war, there is someone who benefits. OPEC countries get a gate pass to increase oil prices in their stock. Third world countries be on their cry beds. Conflicts.
Yes, yes.
There are some beneficiaries.
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
OPEC, yes. Countries OPEC this and go what is this? Nevira sinini. Whatever bako nyora get paskio komenta amangana yamagori yamaguta. So mwama nyanga chisegi nchirororo bono maguta gotreki amentire.
Yes, that's true. It happens.
Yeah. Whatever now that world countries beyond their cry bed. Chichinse chiga chindi chiko no gukina ngara tiga china kodera korwase chire chitaliko imogi end step. Boss Machambi goteba Boss Mogere from a friend from Bochura Kisi. Daktari ako sawa mwambie nimemsalimia. Daktari umesalimiwa na Boss Machambi. Mbali all right. Thank you so very much. Manchumuli tutumira kerengeli kiao na yachiza chigendrete kogenda nara watotevinga tengeneza mitambo yacha kukwama please. We are following from Magena kusema jina lake ungetuambia jina yako lakini mitambo chinsa chinde na vego chiyara akora igo batirende ngagere tukosemonere but mfundi wa mitambo unaweza kuangalia how long will Kenya still hii tulisoma daktari. So, ngwa mentioning into a common currency. Are African leaders ready to try that? Because onye tutagete na into to sustain as a as a continent, Africa as a continent. Because onye no mara even say Tanzania nera rochi bigendrete. The African leaders, presidents, are they ready to sit down? Baka map. We can do this because America they would take superpower. They would take because it is very evident they developed already. These other countries.
Yes.
But will we still sit there dictating about America? Why don't we do that as African president?
So efforts could create a common currency in East Africa. In East Africa. Nero, for example, Kenya go some budget, Uganda there are efforts to create a common currency. In fact, we were expecting that during, and it started with Kibaki's time, but it's a challenge. That Ekera, we get closer to we can currency the country, the big brother, does not allow us to do that. The big brother does not allow us to do that. So that we don't make a common currency.
Yeah.
But we stand at an opportune time. Korosi, East Africa. Last year, they were actually about to start the common currency. But the moment they
that is East Africa?
Yes, it is there.
All right.
If you read central bank reports, it is there.
Okay.
But when we get closer to getting our currency, there is always a disruption. The disruption is coming from those people I'm talking about.
Okay.
They know very well that the moment the 60 million Tanzanians, maybe the 40 million and the 50-something million of Kenya come together, that is a big market, a market of almost 200 million. You may not need other markets. Because with a common currency, you just walk into Tanzania, buy whatever you want. People come to Kenya, they buy whatever they want. You become independent.
Doctor.
Yes.
Thank you. But Kenya, are we really serious? OPEC, Eric Barazabnali, it's Organization for the Petroleum Exporting Countries. Aliens, it's EPRA. OPEC means Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Companies. And Chiko and Maguta. Not necessarily Iran or Israel. Chiko take that advantage. Crisis. Daktari, is Kenya really serious? Import even eggs. Do you know we import eggs from Tanzania? We import even onions.
But remember,
sugar.
We import
sugar, Daktari. A lot of factories around there.
But I think we have killed. We have killed our factories. The cost of production is very high. It's because laying mash, do you call it mash? Very expensive in Kenya. Very expensive.
Yes.
Because they're expensive, we can literally on 20 pounds because they're expensive. But in Uganda, subsidized. We can go to 10 or 12.
That is why people go to Uganda.
Correct. So our attitude towards local production is not good. Right. It's just bad.
You are parting short within 30 seconds, Dr. But before that, Mr. Felix, whatever African leaders are puppets of European governments. They are the ones who finance their campaigns. It will be difficult to be self-reliant when you try like Gaddafi. They bring propaganda and eliminate you.
Yes.
But now,
yes.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Mr. Felix.
So that is true. That is what happens. The moment Okowa independent, what is even happening in there's a country in the Central or West Africa.
Traore, President Traore.
Yes.
It's different.
France wants to eliminate him. The same script.
But
what
that guy is very wise.
What Dr. is saying is true because the moment you want to emerge, you are eliminated by our big brothers. The big brothers are the France, the Americas and the rest. So I agree with what he's saying.
And I'm saying President Traore because you see that guy
he may not be given the time to do that.
Right?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, he may not be given the time to do that. A lot of external forces will come. Maybe the next the embassy country will be used
to eliminate him.
Yes. So maybe my parting shot now.
Yes.
is that ntoligere tu chumotu obogima baba Kenya ko baba Kongo.
All right.
Kubabuna bola reasons chine jiro chikurusi kubona bono chisege chia Russia, Ukraine, Israel, America and Iran, but also the attitude of our leaders and our people, Kenya, will make life become even more difficult. So what we can do as a people is to come together, to have collective consciousness. This is how we need to go. This is how we need to rule ourselves. That is how we can be able to solve our problems.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you very much. This is nice. Nara voringe kemu mugia so korokoro nyango so nyamera korengana nechise giechu. Ebona sicha teliko chikobanse. Let us wait, but rende kwegulinga it affects Kenya directly. Yamana sana daktari Yusuf Motari Korakisi University, lakini kaiga ali capacity na achira kwerere kiagera na manyete na expert on so many things, especially mangana economy, mangana finance, na mangana rengetebe se nivo boteneneli and all those things na kiagera toko mo involve ocha tuara acha ko analyze kidogo. Ayonsi pikianda komigo to wakangambia mona sokonyora chinga kina gutoligereria nyora chideka chinga chirabosyo kwirana ndaiga kumanya manya asenchira yobekera nchinsenye kolende bali mwabolira mabole ya Eric Baraza yabo Mose Felix yabo Brighton Makoli yabo Boas Machambi yabo Isaac Musa Mweno. Tunasema asante sana na wali matanyara ko boliri boli mwiwete moboli, lakini rende tokotebanga anki inkande kwa niaba ya mwelekezi wangu akoro Ven Moriango kwa sasa mwende studio pamoja na mpiga picha Nere Mokogoti Joseph na ichengo kwa Sara Nyarangi Ontita torona segeke kervosyo to wakangambia mono nende tuara obuligereria borobia.